Welcome to one of the driest places on Earth, the McMurdo Dry Valleys in Antarctica. You might think of Antarctica as a frozen wasteland, but here there's almost no snow at all. In fact, these valleys haven't seen significant rainfall for nearly 2 million years. That's right, 2 million years without rain. The dry valleys are considered the coldest, driest place on Earth. The temperature can drop as low as 50 degrees C, 58 degrees, and yet it's incredibly dry. Despite being in Antarctica, this region is virtually free of ice and snow. You may wonder, how can a place in Antarctica be so dry? The answer lies in its geography and the katabatic winds that blow through. These winds are so powerful they evaporate all moisture, keeping the valleys dry. The valleys also sit in a rain shadow, which means no moisture can reach them. Rain shadows form when mountain ranges block the flow of moisture-laden air. The nearby transantarctic mountains prevent any rain or snow from reaching the valleys. The dry valleys are also completely ice-free, making them look like a desert. This extreme dryness is so unique that scientists call it a polar desert. The dry valleys aren't just dry, they are also completely sterile. Life here is limited, and only a few hardy organisms can survive. There are some microorganisms that thrive in this harsh environment. These organisms live in salt deposits and subsurface water under the ground. Despite the lack of rain, life still manages to exist, in very extreme forms. The dry valleys have been a scientific wonderland for decades. Researchers have traveled from around the world to study this place. They are fascinated by how life manages to survive without rainfall. Scientists compare the McMurdo Dry Valleys to Mars due to the similarities in their environments. The landscape is alien-like, with deep valleys and barren hillsides. The dry valleys are often used by scientists to simulate conditions on Mars. Some areas in the valleys even have permanent ice, which exists in small pockets. But still, rain hasn't touched these lands in millions of years. The dry valleys are surrounded by glaciers, but strangely, they remain dry. The only real sources of water are the rare streams fed by melting glaciers. These streams are very short and disappear quickly into the ground. The land is so dry that even winds struggle to carry any moisture. The desert-like appearance of the dry valleys is due to constant wind erosion. These winds shape the landscape, creating sharp ridges and rock formations. Despite the dryness, the area is surprisingly rich in minerals. Salt and minerals are constantly deposited in the valley floor. One of the most fascinating features of the dry valleys is the permafrost. The permafrost is a layer of frozen soil that traps any moisture underground. But because it's so dry on the surface, even permafrost doesn't bring much moisture to the surface. The wind-blown dust here is like sandpaper to the rocks, slowly grinding them down. It's an ecosystem that seems to exist in its own unique, isolated world. Life here is extremely fragile, and even the smallest changes can have big impacts. The dry valleys are a living example of how extreme weather conditions can shape life. One of the most impressive features of the dry valleys is the Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok is buried under thick layers of ice, but remains liquid thanks to geothermal heat. It's one of the largest subglacial lakes on Earth and has remained isolated for millions of years. Scientists believe that microorganisms in Lake Vostok could provide clues to life beyond Earth. The McMurdo Dry Valleys are changing, however, as the climate warms. Researchers are noticing an increase in the amount of meltwater entering the valleys. While it's still incredibly dry, this change could alter the delicate balance of life here. The melting glaciers are providing more water, but it might disrupt the unique environment. The dry valleys have remained untouched for millions of years. This place serves as a living laboratory for studying how life adapts to extreme conditions. It's like a window into a world untouched by time. The dry valleys have shown us how resilient life can be, even without rain. But more importantly, they've taught us about how our own planet's ecosystems can change. What happens in this extreme environment could be a preview of how our world might change. Climate change has the potential to reshape these valleys in unexpected ways. The McMurdo Dry Valleys remind us that even the driest, most barren places can still hold secrets. And who knows? Perhaps this place will continue to surprise us for millions of years to come.